And welcome back, guys. Today we are going to be talking about temptation. I don't want you guys to get confused. I'm not talking about addiction. Okay, there is a difference, right? A lot of us sometimes confuse being tempted and falling into that temptation and not being able to break away, which is very different. Addiction is when you're like already in there. You're already in the thick of it, and you kind of lose self-control. And we always think about, being tempted by, you're being lured into something evil. So temptation, what the Bible says, if you look at James chapter 1 verse 14, it says that temptation comes from our own desires. It's not necessarily the enemy tempting us. And the best way I can explain it is, first we need to understand our enemy. We talked about that in the Sunday night class. So if you look at 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8, it says that the enemy is always watching. It's like a roaring lion. The best explanation that we can see is something that we use every day in our lives: social media. Now we've come accustomed to having social media in our lives so much that we already know that the ads that we see as you're scrolling through, those ads are directed at you. It's because social media is always looking at you, always observing, always seeing all your habits, trying to see what are the things you're clicking at, what are the things you're looking at. And sometimes we kind of already know social media is always, they're trying to see your habits, trying to see what you like. What are you listening to? What are some key phrases you're using? Kind of like, I have to buy tires. Guess what? You're going to get some tire ads. But they're trying to see what they can put in front of you so that you can start, engaging with that content, whether it be a video, a picture, maybe an influencer. So social media, just like 1 Peter 5:8, is always looking, always observing, trying to see what you're doing, trying to catch you in a trap so they can, boom, send them these ads. So one thing that we know is that our eyes are a gateway to who we are. What we watch, what we see, kind of starts planting seeds, whether they be good or bad, into our person. So these seeds end up growing and they create what I would call temptation. Really good example is when you go to the grocery store, things are placed in a very strategic place to force you to spend more money. It's true. If you go to the cashier side, you'll see like there's a lot of candy right there ready for, and especially it's kind of low so that the kiddos, when they're with their parents, that's right, they get some candy. But if you pay attention, they're targeting you as well. They're trying to get you to spend more money. And especially when you go to checkout, you see the candy. Oof. Not only do you have like chocolate, you have chips, you have cookies, you have my favorite, Coke. I love Coke. I don't want to say I'm addicted, but man, am I tempted every time I see it. The sweet burn. Delicious. So in this first video, we're just introducing temptation. It's not addiction, okay? And it's something that comes out of you. If we look at James chapter 1 verse 14, we see that temptation comes within our own desires. So the enemy is watching you and throwing things your way to see, what are you engaging with? What are you looking at? What are the things that kind of get a reaction out of you? Especially, what are the things that can kind of destroy you morally, right? And temptation starts very small, kind of like first time you have chocolate. So stay tuned. Next video, we'll deep dive into it, all right? We'll find out what's the catch, what's behind this temptation.